Hey, this is your girl Alysha, and I am a lady that knows.
Hi everyone, this is your girl Marie, and I am the CEO of LadySoft.com and the online reporter for That'sEnough.com. And I have a lovely guest with me this evening. Please welcome Mrs. Alysha Penfield.
Hi, Marie. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. How are you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm actually very honored to be here today. I was really nervous, but I couldn't be on a better platform.
I'm super excited. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been doing.
I'm from Orange, New Jersey, born and raised Jersey girl. My parents are both from Haitian descent. Currently, right now, a video producer for MS Communications, which is Hot 97, WBLS, and LIB. So my daily work ethic is to pretty much shoot interviews, concerts, and produce content for our website.
That is awesome. So tell us, how did this all begin?
I kind of actually fell upon it. I graduated high school 2004 and I went to Essex County in New Jersey, which is a 2-year community college. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in 2004. At the time, I thought I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher. So I took classes for education.
Okay.
In 2006, my father passed, and I just couldn't deal with going to school and just concentrating and focusing. I remember the day I was in an English class, and we were watching Death of a Salesman, and I cried the entire day, and I told myself I wasn't going back to school, and I didn't. So from 2006 to about, 2010, I was working for Comcast Cable at the time, and I was a collections rep. Mm-hmm. And I was actually making pretty decent money at the time, and I was like, I'm never going back to school. There's no need. I'm making more money than people who are in school. And not too long after that, they closed my department down, and I was stuck with nothing. No college degree. All my friends had graduated. They were going into law school. They were going into so many fields. And at the time, I was almost 23, 24. Mm-hmm. And I just was looking around like, wow, everybody's done with school. So I made the decision to go back to school, and I changed my major to communications. And I still really didn't know what I wanted to do at the time, but I just was going with the flow. I was passing all my classes. And finally, I happened to fall upon a video class, and I loved it. And I just started doing it. And I got an internship for Hot 97, and I made sure I was consistent and persistent and did as much work as possible. And that's how I became a video producer for Hot 97.
And you're here today. That's awesome.
Yes.
So why videography?
For a very long time, it was going to be dance. Everybody that knows me knew me.
So you're a dancer?
I did. I used to dance ballet. I danced ballet from the age of 6 to about 17.
Okay.
So I thought I was going to be Misty. Everybody's familiar with Misty. I thought I was going to be Misty. That was my goal, was to be a professional dancer. But I always used to play with like cameras. I always used to take pictures. Like I always used to do that, but I never paid any attention to it. So my dad always used to have a camera. My father was the type of person that always had a camera at every function and never in the camera. Like you never saw my father. He always had a camera. So I always used to follow him around, and I always used to want to know what he was doing. Mm-hmm. So one day I remember asking, we found some tapes, and you can see my father passing me the camera, and I started directing my father on where to stand, and I was telling him, I'm going to fade out, stay there. And
at what age?
I was probably at the time, maybe like 9, 10.
Wow.
Probably no more than 10. And you hear me like, stand here, I'm gonna fade out. And you see the camera fade out, hands a little shaky, but you could tell like I had a little bit of the eye for it.
Right.
But I had kept that, stored somewhere for a really long time. I never considered doing video until I actually lost my father and decided to go back to school. And ever since, I've just fallen in love with the art of it and teaching myself everything possible to get better. I surround myself with people every day to make sure like my path that I'm taking is gonna, get me to where I want to go. So honestly, it's all my father. If he never had a camera, I would have never been interested.
And doing that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, do you dabble a little bit into photography as well?
Yeah, sometimes. My first hire was my cousin. My cousin she wanted me to take pictures of her giving birth of my goddaughter. And that was my first job. I took pictures of that, and I still remember to this day, everyone still talk about those pictures and how good the pictures came out.
Right.
I got every part of the pregnancy, from where, you know, my goddaughter was coming out to the part where she was placed on my cousin. So I got all of that. And I think at that time I was about 12, 13. So it was always there, but I never thought that would be a career for me. I thought dancing was going to be it for me. Oh, that's all I did. Literally 7 days a week was dance. Went to school, went to dance class, came home. That was the schedule. No video classes until I was about 23, 24.
And so you've been over at MS Communications, Hot 97. So you've been here for how long?
I've been here since 2011. I interned for about 2.5 years. And then they hired me. They saw that I was dedicated, and they hired me.
That's awesome. So I'm sure you've worked with a lot of, different celebrities. So what was one of your favorite projects to work on?
My very first one, because I thought I was going to be the intern running to get coffee.
Oh, God.
Thought that was going to be the job. But my very first job was working with Flex. We get there, and my boss goes, yeah, stay in the room. The artist is going to come in. And Drake walks in.
Oh.
And Drake walks over and shakes my hand. And I was like, I'm going to be this close. I didn't think I was going to be this close. And that was my first project. And ever since, I've been lucky to deal with a whole bunch of celebrities.
How is it like working with Flex?
Flex?
Because everyone is just like, Flex always dropping the bombs. And
Flex is such a sweetheart. I don't understand why people think that about, well, I do, because he's always dropping bombs. But no, Flex is such a sweetheart. And honestly, you can learn from him by just paying attention.
Amazing.
And being here the 4 years, I've definitely seen how he's been able to be consistent and still be relevant, because he's very much so still relevant, whether people like to believe that or not.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
So whose work are you most inspired by? I mean, is there a videographer that you look up to in particular, or?
Actually, no. There's a particular genre, though. So
Okay.
for me, documentaries are it. Like, I can watch any type of documentary, whether it's like an ESPN, an HBO, anything. I could sit and watch documentaries all day. They're just so interesting to me, because the question is always why? And I feel like with documentaries, you search something you're passionate about, and then you get that answer as to why. So for me, documentaries, if I had to choose like a specific genre, it would be documentaries. I fall in love with those, no matter what it is.
Right. This year, you covered Black Girls Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's something every female looks forward to every year. So tell me, because Michelle Obama was in the building.
Yes.
That's what I heard.
Yes.
How was it like?
Man, first of all, I didn't believe anybody when they said she was coming. There was just, you couldn't even tell she was there. So when they shouted her out on stage, and I saw her, I immediately got chills, and I thought, okay, this is gonna be something to talk about tomorrow. And then when she gave her speech, I got more chills, and I got really inspired by what she was saying. And to me, what I took away from that is just anything is possible as long as you literally put yourself to it, whatever it is. If it's videography, if it's wanting to become the president of the United States, if it's wanting to be a dentist or a podiatrist, or whatever the case may be, as long as you focus and tune out the noise, you'll definitely get where you want to be. And it's not impossible. You just have to have the right people around you, and you have to be willing to take some risk and sacrifice.
So what do you say to a young videographer, photographer that is trying to break into the industry? What advice would you give that individual?
I would tell that individual to learn and soak up as much as they possibly could, no matter who it is, no matter what it is, just learn. I was lucky enough to have a conversation with Derek Luke, and he gave me a story, a gem. He told me, he took a risk. There's 3 things. So I'll tell them to take a risk, to learn, and to take, and to just be focused, to tune out the noise. So back to Derek Luke. Derek Luke told me a story where he took the risk to fly to California.
Right.
Went to California, and he was applying for jobs as well as, acting, doing auditions. So his job was working in the Sony Theater lot in the gift shop. So for about 10 years of living in California, he worked in a gift shop. So when he auditioned for Antoine Fisher, he was working in the same Sony gift lot that he, was going to end up shooting the movie.
Oh, wow.
And what he told me, he said, the one thing I made sure I did was I made sure I worked in the environment that I wanted to be in. He said, whether I was picking up garbage and throwing it out at night, I wanted to make sure I surrounded myself with the environment and the people that I want to work with. And long and behold, Denzel Washington walked into that gift shop and said, you are Antoine Fisher. And he never had to walk back into that gift shop. So if I can tell anybody anything, any young video producer, I would tell them to just make sure you surround yourself with the people that you want to be like.
I want to ask, I'm glad that you all mentioned that. I mean, do you think that, our generation is lazy when it comes to finding their purpose or sticking to a task or chasing their dream? Do you think we're lazy?
I think that we are distracted.
Okay.
Not lazy. I think we're distracted because there's so much else going on at our fingertips. And what I mean by that, you have social media, which is a blessing and a curse. And if you're not the type of person to be headstrong, it can be a curse for you. So when I say distractions, I mean you see other people doing things and taking pictures with people you want to be around, and you can get discouraged from that because that's not where you are and where you want to be. So I don't necessarily think we're lazy. I think we're distracted, and I think we need to just realize that what you see is not always what it is, but what you see is something that you can also get. So if you see, I don't know, Diddy, I don't know, someone is being signed to Rock Nation that was found on, I don't know, something random, anything. You can be that person if you just really use all of your outlets that you have. Use that same social media platform to become that person you want to be. It's easy, but it's something you have to really make sure you learn the ins and outs to and make it work. So
amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me, who are some of your inspirations in media?
I'm gonna have to go with a fellow Jerseyan, Karen Civil. I went to go see her at NYU. She came to speak at NYU, and I didn't realize how much in common we had. Besides her being Haitian, I didn't know she was from New Jersey. So when I found that out, I was excited. But Karen Civil definitely, she actually was an intern for Flex. So I didn't realize we had that much in common. Like we both kind of worked for the same people, and she's in media. She really just let me know that believing in your vision will absolutely take you to that vision and absolutely get you to the place where you want to be. Like when she was sitting there talking, it was kind of crazy, because when she was speaking, I kind of saw myself. Like when people say that, you're like, okay, yeah, whatever. Right. But when she was speaking, I literally would have to blink once or twice, because I literally saw myself up there, and I'm like, wow, her story is really similar to mine. And if I use some of the, the gems, it can continue to be mine, and I can continue it to make my own and then form a path for someone else. So I was really inspired by her because she didn't let, her family's views on being in media or, not being a doctor or a lawyer or whatever it may be.
Especially coming from a
Haitian background, right?
Yeah.
So she was very, very independent, and she believed. And the one thing that I did take away from her is that she was able to network and open herself up to helping anybody, and making it her own type of brand. Like, she made that her brand to go out and help people in a field that she was comfortable in, which was social media at the time, which was genius because social media at the time, no one really knew how to use it. So she figured out a formula, mastered the formula, and then now we have positions at corporations that are called digital managers. And she's part of that reason. So I think that's awesome that she kind of created her own lane with something she was comfortable with. And now we know her as Karen Civil. Right. So if I had to thank anybody for inspiration, it would be her.
All right. So with LadySoft.com, we aim to empower young women and motivate them to not only chase their dreams, but be the best lady that they can be. So what advice would you give young women in general about, just being a woman?
Being yourself is important. I think whatever that means to you, to be that. But the one thing I think our generation, not our generation after us, what they don't really have good examples of is just carrying yourself as a lady. I think that's important. So I think my advice to them would be to just remember that you don't have to be Instagram famous to be someone would want to have conversations with, to want to be around. Just really finding yourself and finding that being a woman is okay, and being a lady is okay, and being true to yourself is important. And just not to let what you see on TV or, quick to fame situations be the only example to live by, because there are other wonderful women in media, in politics, in any field that you can lead by example. And if there's a field that isn't covered, then maybe you can be that person. But to absolutely make sure that you are true to yourself at the end of the day, whatever that is.
And you mentioned being a lady. What do you mean exactly?
Just the way you carry yourself.
Okay.
The way you dress, the way you treat other people, the way you just overall literally carry yourself every day. And I'm not saying to dress with a skirt that touches your ankles. I'm not saying that. Just carry yourself with pride, carry yourself with confidence, and just be that woman that would make your mom and your grandmother proud, and your father.
I like that. I like that. All right, so tell me your favorite inspirational quote.
I'm not sure who actually said it, but I know Jay-Z quoted it. It's always believe you're great even before anybody else believes it. And I think that's really important, because you have to believe your vision before anybody else will. If you don't believe it, it's never going to work through. And you can tell people, you can always tell someone your vision, but they will never see it like you do. You have the images in your head. You have the ideas. You have the execution you want to take. And I feel as though if you don't believe that, no one else will. That's one. But you should always be the person to be your first cheerleader. You should be your first cheerleader, even when no one else thinks your vision is it.
Right.
People create Instagram like that. People create Facebook like that. People create documentaries and movies that we talk about like that, by believing in their vision. And I think that that's really important for you, your brand, and what you want to be.
I love that. Where can we find you?
Well, you can find my work on Vimeo. So it's vimeo.com/unleashed. It's UNLYSHED. And my Instagram, it's Alysha, ALYSHAP819. And my Twitter, they're all the same.
Awesome. Well, Alysha, first of all, I would like to just commend you on a
Thank
job well
you.
done. We're close friends as well, and I see the work that she puts in every single day. And I just wish you nothing but the best. So
thank you. Hopefully next time I come, you'll be interviewing me for my documentary.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Thank
chatting
you,
with
Marie.
LadySoft.com and That'sEnough.com.